so that I can get some broom corn on this rack back here, the metal rack, to lay it out flat so it can start drying with the dehumidifier. And it's been drying for a few days now, but I just have it laying on the workshop floor so there's not a lot of airflow under the broom corn. And I really want to dry it properly so that it doesn't get moldy or mildewed from not laying flat and having airflow underneath. So that's the goal today, and I'll see if I can do this within 20 minutes or so to clear off the wire rack and then make some space in this walkway area, and then bring the harvest from the last couple of days of videos that I've made harvesting the broom corn. The harvest is over yonder, and all of this broom corn that you see is from last year's harvest. So that broom corn is dry and ready to store elsewhere, and the new broom corn needs to move over here. So I figured that we could unpack a box, because there's a box in my way. There's a box, a little two baskets in a box, before we can get back here and start pulling off that old broom corn. And then up on the top shelf is a bunch of broomsticks, and so I just need to relocate those so that I can put the broom corn on all of these racks. So there's more. I told you I had a lot of alpaca fiber. So this one is from Bilbo or Bilu. I don't know the name of this alpaca. So I'm gonna get that out of my way. I've been moving a bunch of stuff out of my shop so I can really start organizing as I move stuff in. So everything is still basically in a disarray right now. This is Arwen. It's a really pretty, like, brownish black fiber. And I just love fiber, so it's hard for me to get rid of it, but I used to have like 20 bags of alpaca fiber, and somehow over the years I guess I got rid of some of it. Somehow. Maybe I gave some away, I don't really remember. This is wool batting for the middle lining of a quilt. So when you make a quilt, it's kind of like a sandwich. So you have your quilt top, then you have your batting, and then you have your backing of a quilt. So this is wool for the middle of the sandwich. Let's see. This is insulating thermal lining. And this is for, I was making a bunch of like quilted pot holders, and this goes in the middle of that sandwich. Instead of the batting, you put this insulated batting so that you can use your pot holder and it doesn't just burn your hand. There has to be something in there to like, that is heat resistant. All right. This Lazy Susan has been following me around the various videos. So I'm gonna move this all the way out of my way. Hold on. All right, corn husks. Is it my hair? Yes, my hair is real. I mean, it's dreadlocks. You know, I've had my hair dreaded since I was 17. So it's been really long, it's been shorter. This bin is broken, so it's just making everything, it's not a very good storage thing. So once I clear this bin, I'm gonna probably have to get rid of it. All right, but let's see what's in it. This is a broken piece. This was a little bumblebee embroidery that I was doing that it looks like I just never finished. I almost finished it, but it's just like an unfinished project. Oh, this is a pattern. I make these handmade bunnies, And I really love rabbits and bunnies. So this is the back. It's just like a paper pattern. These are some looms. And I actually think that I need to get rid of these because I've never used them. Years ago, somebody gifted me a bunch of looms, like sock looms and a floor loom, a table loom, lots of different looms, and I have not learned how to use them yet. So that was one of my things with all of my crafts is like if I haven't learned to do it in 2 years, then I need to like pass it on. Here's some embroidery hoops, lots of embroidery hoops. A little hand that I was embroidering is my hand, like an outline of my actual hand. And I was doing a bunch of henna hands, like henna designs in hands embroidered, and I have some in my bedroom that I finished, but this one is not finished. So here's one of the leg patterns for the rabbit. It says legs make 2 layers each. This was a old vest that I had. So this is like a sewing box of like sewing projects. This is a vest. Oh, it goes this way. This is a vest that I had that I was trying to duplicate. So I pulled it apart to use the actual vest as a pattern to make more. Some shibori, some indigo fabric. This was, oh, I think somebody made this for me. It's a little, no, I'm not finished with, if you're talking about the embroidery, no, I'm not finished with that yet. This is like a book of eco-print paper. So this is all paper that was printed with plants. And somebody made me a little book of that, one of my students. A ruler, a dressmaker's ruler for sewing. This is like unpacking like your most secret little things while being on camera. So I feel a little bit self-conscious about this box. I don't know why. Another embroidery hoop. This is a suction, like when you're using a big quilting ruler, you can put your suction on it so it's easier to move around. This is a plant press that you can put in the microwave. So I was pressing a bunch of flowers with this. It's called a micro fleur. So I don't have a microwave anymore. Hello. I don't have a microwave anymore, so I don't use that. This is a little dress for a doll for one of the rabbits that I had. Like the rabbit that someone made for me when I was a little girl had this dress. And so I was pulling it apart to make more dresses for other rabbits. This rabbit was made for me in like the 80s. This is a print from another broom maker that she sent me that was really beautiful. Rabbit parts. I've actually been looking for these. I'm gonna set these aside so I can take them inside because I have the rest of these rabbits in my bedroom because I wanted to finish sewing them. So rabbit ears, rabbit legs, little rabbit arms. So that's great. Now I can go and finish those rabbits. And all of these are plant dyed. So cochineal, marigold, all different plant colors. This was a little apron that goes over the dress of the bunny. And then these were the parts, the original parts of my bunny. See, it's been signed 1988. Then it's a pattern for the bunny. It's like I had to split the head down the middle and then put a seam there so that it comes together. Some little sewing needles, or these are sewing pins, not needles. A little random Allen wrench. More embroidery hoops. More pattern parts. This is the arm. Ears. This is just a little bag. Maybe I'll put my little rabbit parts into this bag. And then these are the hearts. So the rabbits are called folk heart rabbits. And on their chest, they all have a little folk heart. I don't know if y'all have ever done any research on old folk hearts, but it's like heart motifs that you can find all over the world that are called folk hearts. So you'll see them in furniture, you'll see them in quilting, you just see these hearts. Where are the rabbits? The rabbits, the bunnies are inside, the ones that I've made. I've also sold a bunch of them. But I used to raise rabbits. I don't raise rabbits anymore. This is an airbrusher where you can hook it up to like an air pump and fill this with plant paint or whatever kind of paint that you have and do airbrushing, which is randomly in this box. Some dress patterns for Renaissance. It's a Renaissance costume. So again, this is just a box of like sewing stuff, sewing projects and stuff. These are popsicle sticks that I use for indigo resists. So that's why they're blue, because for whatever reason I was using them to clamp different parts, like to make different designs for indigo dipping, indigo dyeing. This is a drop spindle and some fiber, some wool that I was spinning with the drop spindle. Some stencils, little heart star stencils. So if I wanted to stencil some stars onto a piece of fabric, I could put the stencil down and then use my airbrusher to paint the stars on the stencil. That's probably why they're all together in this box. This is a little magazine that I got from, I think this is from Tuck It In. It doesn't say the company name, but this is a quilt school, the anatomy of a quilt, so how to make quilts step by step. I've only made one quilt, but I would like to make more. Some little snips for snipping thread. These are sewing weights for weighing down your fiber, weighing down your fabric so that you can cut it and make your patterns. I'm gonna pull all of this out of this box and then put it into something else, because all of this stuff is really similar as far as projects go, like sewing, and so I want to keep it all together. This is tailor's chalk. So if I was making a sewing pattern or tracing a sewing pattern on some dark fabric, then I could use this white chalk to draw my lines and then go back in with my scissors and cut. These are some paint brushes for painting with plant paint. I work only with plant paints and plant dyes. Hello, I'm glad you could make it onto the live, Cherise. These are more little dress patterns. I think a friend of mine gave me all of these patterns, even that Renaissance one. This one too, my friend Madeline gave me all of these. This is a cloak you can make. The pattern is inside. So these are all the future projects of my life. Oh, I'm glad that you liked that video. You know, I was that was yesterday, and I wanted to make a video where I wasn't talking, where I was just working. And I really like making the live videos because I don't have to edit them, and I can just make them while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, like right now unpacking boxes and stuff. And then once I'm off of the live, they're good to go. So I'm glad that you like that, because people were like, say something, why don't you speak? But the whole point was to just like not, just to like be together. This is a sewing needle. I love these little vials of sewing needles that they send out through the School of Making. Yeah, that cloak is beautiful. And cloaks seem fairly easy. I've made maybe one cloak before where I was just kind of winging it, but it should be an easy enough pattern to follow. Let's take a look at it. What is this? Oh, this is the undercollar for the cloak. Yeah, it's just like miscellaneous pieces that you have to probably cut out individually. This looks like the main cloak. Yeah. So it's really big. Some friends are giving me a big oak table that they used to have dinner parties and stuff on. So it's really long and it's big and heavy. And I'm so excited because I'm gonna put it here in my workshop and use it as my drafting and sewing table. I never have a table big enough to lay out my fabric and cut it and everything. So they were talking about delivering that. It's like a big heavy table that has to be brought over in a trailer, and it has to have like more than one person moving it. So I'm really excited for when that gets delivered, but also I have to clean my shop in order to make space for it. So it kind of gives me a deadline, which deadlines are good for me. I hate deadlines, but they do serve me well because they like light a fire under my butt and make me do things faster. These are little scrap pieces of denim. Yeah, the table is like solid oak, and it's been, within my friend group for years, and it has a lot of love into it, where, just imagine like all of your best friends gathering around a big table for a meal, and then you get that table. Here's measuring tape for sewing. Now we're getting down to the bottom. All right, here's some these are like fan forms, because I still want to make some fabric fans, and so I got kind of the skeletons to fill in. I think these are bamboo. So there's 3 of those, and I always get around to my projects. Sometimes it just takes me a while. So that's just how I run my business too. Like I make whatever I want to make, and then I sell it. So I will make these. The summer is ending, but maybe I'll have them ready for next summer. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely about the table. Ooh, this is cool. Vests. I love vests. I love wearing a vest. Like, look at that vest. Look at her vest. That's so beautiful. And this is vests from Greece and Poland. So a bunch of vest patterns. I didn't even know this was in here. So this is probably going to be like the first thing that I make. Let's see. These things have just been in here for so long. It's nice to go through this this box. These are the patterns for a little nature top. I had made in one of the previous videos I had talked about a little box top that I had made. That's a little nature box top from Thread and Sprout, threadandsprout.com. She makes these really beautiful nature dresses and tops, and so she put out this pattern for making one of these tops, and I made a top like this out of plant dyed linen for a little friend of mine when she was turning I think she was turning 6. This is a wrap dress looking pattern. More patterns. And then some trash. That box is empty and falling apart. So good riddance. It's done its job. So let's move on to the baskets. All right, hold on. Let me see something for a second. Okay. Ooh, okay, still have you. All right, so there's some baskets down here. This also, I'm resting everything on these baskets. So these are like, this is like a Russian doll basket where it has another basket. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. I tried doing it, but I keep getting a phone call. So another basket, and then inside of that, another basket. And I haven't really, these belong to a friend of mine, and I'm just like the caretaker of them for now, but I haven't really figured out what to do with them because I won't be able to see what's in them if I start putting stuff in them, so I'm hesitant. But maybe like some of those skeins of yarn could go in there. All right. Here's some easel fiber, and so now we're getting into like broom making supplies. Some reed, some easel. Easel comes from the inside of the agave plant, which is what I was making that little altar broom with yesterday. This basket is really easy. So this is a pack basket. It's a big backpack basket with a pocket on the side, and I made this a few years ago. I made a bunch of these, but they're not finished. I need to put straps. I want to put a leather top and then like leather backpack straps. And so I need to just do that, and then they'll be done and finished. This is, broom corn seed, the 2025 crop, so last year. And then inside of this basket is some sandpaper and just a bunch of blocks of wood for brushes that I'm making. This is all Purple Heart in here, Purple Heart wood. Then there's some that's probably like a sanding block. And then some black walnut, and that's curly maple. So this is like a brush design that I have. More black walnut, curly maple. So for the brushes that I'll be making with the pieces from the Eakstle Altar Brooms trim, that will be the bristles. That way none of that making process goes to waste. All right, so that's my big old pack basket, and I plant dyed this, I think, with lac or something. But you can see I painted it, and so there's some spaces in there where you can see the natural basket reed. I would like to immerse this whole basket in a dye pot. That way it can fill in all of those spaces that didn't reach with my brush. Last basket is got some basket reed in it. So plant dyed basket reed with cochineal and marigold. A tying stick for making brooms. A little broom. This must be my little broom because it doesn't have a hanger on it, so maybe I forgot to put a hanger on it, and so now it's mine. Some end pieces of broom corn, some seagrass. This seagrass for weaving. I love the way that seagrass smells. It's just like some seagrass rope for making edges on baskets and things like that, borders. Oh, I was looking for this. My little wooden comb. This is what I usually comb the easel with when I'm making the altar brooms. And yesterday I was using a different comb, but this is my favorite comb to use for that purpose. So I'm gonna make sure I set it aside so I know where it is. And this is some waxed linen cord for making brooms. So all broom making stuff in this little basket. And my friend gave me this leather feather that she made, and I really love that too. Just a little piece of leather cut into the shape of a feather. All right, so we're finally back here at the wire rack for putting the broom corn on. Let's see, it's 2:09. So I gotta wrap it up because I actually have somewhere to go in about an hour. Let me move you closer. Okay. Yeah, thanks for joining. So all this broom corn is coming off. Oh, just dropped some of those patterns. This is last year's broom corn. So it's all dry, beautiful, but it doesn't need this rack right now. It can go onto, actually it can go right here onto this rack. Let's see, that rack there. Because it can go onto a rack that has a wooden shelf because it doesn't need the airflow underneath like the fresh broom corn does. Uh-oh, stuff is falling. Okay. Here's that rack I was telling you about in the other video. It's like a pots and pans rack. We found the hardware for it the other day. And there's the rack, but it's not attached to anything. But it could probably go just flush against one of these walls. All right, let's move the rest of this broom corn. Okay, that was easy enough. There's some miscellaneous wood. And I don't really have time to pull all these broomsticks down, so I'm just gonna add the fresh broom corn to the rack here. I'm gonna move you right here, and then I'm gonna start bringing, there we go. I'm gonna start bringing the fresh broom corn over and putting it onto these racks. So just bear with me. The hardest part is like getting the broom corn in there without it going through the little slats. There we go. And then just spreading it out as flat as possible. We'll get as much on this rack as we can because it all needs to kind of lay flat, which is what's going to keep it from mildewing. This broom corn is just so pretty. Look how pretty that is. And it has all the green in it still. right, so now that you can see where this is going, I'm gonna spare you all the boredom of watching me go rack by rack. All right, well, you've got to go, I'm gonna go too, and I will see you guys for the next live, and we will pick up where we left off with unpacking boxes and